Carina, it's been so long that we just had to gather ourselves for 20 minutes because we made ourselves cry from laughing.
We have been laughing genuinely for about an hour straight, and we have had to collect ourselves for you guys. So we're going to do that. And I just want to start off by saying you are killing it lately.
Thanks.
You have been doing a lot of cool events. It's been great to see you in person. I saw you at the one event, and it's been nice to see online that you are just crushing it.
Thanks.
So I just want to hear, what's been going on? How are you?
Big event season, for sure.
Yeah.
And thank you for coming to that. Good Food Fest. Iconic event to come to.
We had so much fun putting on my eye. That was great.
It literally is one of the coolest events. So huge, epic farmers market. Christy Campley throws it. Shout out to her. One of the most well-organized events I will ever go to in my life, hands down. Pulls thousands of people, all local vendors and farmers and things like that. Such a cool thing to be a part of. But selling straight through, I think it started at 10. I was set up by 9:45. I started selling off the table right then all the way through to 4 p.m. And it was incredible connections, just such good people to talk to who are genuinely interested in food and things like that. But crazy event schedule. I think I had one almost every weekend, if not every other for a little while there, plus drops every other week. So it gets a little bit chaotic, especially in the fall. That's a big CrossFit comp one. I've got one tomorrow morning. Actually, I'm leaving at 4 a.m. to head up to one. Herd Fest, super excited.
Love it.
But it's really fulfilling to do those events in person, to have people like you come out, just make it feel really cool.
I will say that the farm event was unbelievable. It was incredible. The vibes were there. I actually ended up meeting a few people with a friend of mine, and we just had a great time.
Yeah.
So great job to that. Now, I can imagine you're juggling a lot, and I can imagine that you are taking it full steam ahead like the person I know you are. How is it, though? Walk me through kind of a day in the life of Katie right now. And this can really pertain to a lot of people. I feel like you're going to be speaking to a lot of not only business owners, but trainers, people that have schedules that might not be the typical 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So walk me through that. What's going on?
Well, it's funny. I saw this thing on Instagram the other day, and it was some meme that was I'm so glad I get to create my own schedule because now I can change my whole marketing strategy at 11 p.m. and question my life choices at 2 a.m. And it's that's so true. We literally get into fields like this because it's not the traditional 9 to 5. And then you're oh, I just work at all hours now. But when you love it, it feels different. But a typical day-to-day varies. Being in manufacturing still makes weeks kind of change depending on if it's a drop week or not. I am really good mentally in the morning. That's when I'm ready to rock.
That is where you and I are very alike.
Yeah.
That is I was about to say very different. I'm not a night person, so I totally get that. 100%.
I mean, once it hits 3 p.m., brain cells start to fade a little bit. So I like to do whatever's the most important task of that day or that week, that's getting done first. So production weeks, I'm up. I try to get to the kitchen before 7 so me and my mom can crank out bars for a couple hours, and then hit some admin work, hit the gym, move on and do the fun things towards the end of the day. But I think it's just a matter of for me, I have to do that scheduling out of just a couple things that are the most important to get done. It's I can't give myself this huge to-do list because I'm going to be super overwhelmed if I don't get to everything. But write down the 2 to 3 things that have to get done that day. If it's manufacturing, that tends to just be the one big thing. Knock them out early and then move on through the rest of the day.
Something that I think is really critical, and I think we both do this, which is great. You have your big calendar, and when I say that, we were talking about loose leaf. Very old school.
Yep.
Pen, paper, and I just like to write it out. It makes you feel in control of what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think when it's online, sometimes it can get a little crazy. But, for example, you have your week, you have your month, and then you have your overall year.
Yeah.
And I think we could probably agree in that. With owning businesses, but also just doing the day-to-day work, I think a lot can get lost in the shuffle if you don't write it down.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it can get... it exists in 2 ways in my brain where I have to balance the overwhelm of looking at the big picture with the reality of I'm running a business. I have to have those big things in mind that are farther out in the future with being where my feet are and getting done what needs to get done in order to ever even get to those points. So I actually keep my calendar separate. I will write out usually less than a month on a piece of paper notebook, straight down each day, and then go across with the big things that are going to get done those days. And then I have my refer back to, that's just the broad event calendar type of thing.
Yes.
Because I can't look at both at the same time. That's too
No.
much for me.
And I think if you, like you said, putting it away, bringing it back out, like for me, this has helped me in college, this has helped me in high school, and I've done the same exact thing. I get like loose leaf on that little binder thing. I have it on the left side always. And I think I was talking about this in episode 1 actually, and just have the week. And you write out everything. And it's grounding to do that on like a Sunday night. For
sure.
This is what I have to do this week. And it makes things less daunting. And I think when we get into working, we're both young professionals now. How does if someone says to you, like, I really dread my job, or I'm really like upset that it's going to be Monday and I have to work, right? Like, how as young professionals can we make that invigorating and exciting?
So I think you and I will have cool different perspectives on this because you know the 9-to-5 world and I have never once stepped foot in it. I'm really grateful for that. The jobs that I've always worked have been in things that I'm super passionate about, which we talked about in a previous episode. I've worked in the fitness industry. I now run a protein bar company, which like I feel for me is very cool. Like that's something I've always wanted to do. So it's like I don't go to bed on a Sunday scared for Monday because I'm so excited to wake up and do something, which I think is really, really important. I know that's not realistic for people all the time though. Do you have advice on like the 9-to-5 life?
Because sometimes I think, especially right now, going through college, you have this pressure for the 9-to-5, but also just to get a job. I think in this economy right now, it's just been so crazy with jobs being even available that people are just like, what can I get on to even make a living? Right?
Yeah.
And I think what's really important is to not settle. Almost like dating, you don't want to settle for something that you know you're going to be miserable in.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, this is a big chunk of your life, right?
Yeah.
And I'm really not a fan of people that say, work-life balance, because it really is not about that. That's basically in saying, I want more time off. I want to escape that more so I have more time to do things that I like.
Yeah.
When really it should be, how can I make my job effective for my life? How can I let it complement my life? How can I make it enjoyable? What little things throughout the day can I do to make this something that I want to be a part of?
Absolutely.
The company I work for right now, they do an incredible job with centering people into what their passions are.
That's awesome.
And engaging in what you like to do. So right now, like, I look forward to going to work because I know I'm going to do something that I know is meaningful, and having that bigger picture. And I think when we talk about our mission statements for 5 Alpha and Reframe, talking about what is our mission, what do we always go back to, having that compass, I think it's really important for business owners, but also just in general, if you are working for someone, to have something that you are aligned to.
Absolutely.
Like I need a North Star, whether it's a small project, whether it's a big 3 or 4 year layout of a program, I need to know what the reason is of why I'm doing this at all times.
I think people and companies kind of throw out these like general terms of having core values and things like that without people actually narrowing them down to what truly resonates with them. Because if you actually understand what you value and are passionate about in life, I would argue that you can take any profession and bring it back to that in some regard.
Yep.
If not, like, your job for some people, your 9-to-5 might be just what pays the bills to let you do other things in your life that allow you to really go towards the things that you're passionate, that North Star.
That can literally be, yes. But like you said, not to cut you off, Katie.
No, you're good.
Like that is, you need to have meaning in what you're doing.
Yeah.
And if you just are like, I'm putting my head down and working and I don't know why I'm doing it. I don't know what I'm doing with this client. I don't know what I'm doing with this drop. Like, I don't get it. You are going to be miserable no matter what. And that is something I urge people that are in a job right now or running. It can pertain to everybody, whether you're running a business, whether you're an employee. How do you find meaning in your work deeper than just saying, these are the core values when you sign up for this job?
Yeah.
Because it never is that simple.
Never.
You're going to have hard days. You're going to have days where on Monday at 7 a.m., I'm like, I'm feeling myself. I'm going to have a great week. What happens on Wednesday when you get a flat tire?
Yep.
Are you going to keep that consistency? Because you're not going to keep it if you just have that little mindset of, oh, I'm going day to day.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's gotta be something innate in you, and you build that through repeating the steps in your head of, why am I here? What am I doing? What is the goal of this?
I agree. I think with the work-life balancing, and again, I'm not in the 9-to-5 world, so I can't speak on it too well, but I feel as if you take work-life balance and you take your focus on your values and your passions and your North Star, that balance all of a sudden isn't just like trying to find your way out of work, like you said, getting more time off and things like that. It's finding different ways to tie it all in together throughout the day where all of a sudden it doesn't feel like you have to get out of work as soon as you need to. But it's like, if you're working a job and it's paying the bills and it's getting done what you need to get done, that might just be a time period of your life that it's just a season. And then you're going to get through that and get to the next one. And maybe that's the time period of your life that is a little bit more fulfilling and gets that part of your life out of the way.
100%. And I do think I think people can get really stuck or maybe have that midlife crisis of like, what am I doing with my life? And you always have to remember to like, you are the only person that can change you.
Absolutely.
There is no one else that is coming to save you. You need to be the one to do that. So if scheduling works for you, that makes your life a little bit easier. Do that. We're telling you little tricks on scheduling, but it has to work for you.
Yeah.
I say the same thing. We don't have to get down this rabbit hole, but I say the same thing with working out.
Yeah.
Like, there's a ton of influencers out there that are like, oh yeah, like if you do this every day at 5 a.m., like you do 100 sit-ups, you're going to get abs in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's like, that might work for your body type. And that actually could have worked for you. 100%.
Yeah.
But that's not going to work for the majority. And I think it's a little naive to say that.
Yeah.
So I just want to preface that. And what we're doing, this is what works for us. This is the kind of mindset that works for us, but it doesn't always have to work for everybody. And hey, DM us. Like, we're happy to walk it through with you and see what works for you. I just think some people get so stressed and caught up in what everyone else is doing, how they're looking at it, and like, how can I, oh my God, like if I'm not looking at it that way, what does that mean? Or if I'm juggling having kids, driving them to school, and then coming to my work and I don't feel meaning in that day, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be a failure? No,
yeah.
It's not. So,
but that is going to consistently be a thought that pops up in your head if you're not bringing it back inside of you and thinking of like, what am I doing for me today, and something that's moving me forward. Like, for me, my core value and what everything in my life has to tie back to is growth. Like, I 100%. Don't align with anything in life that's not growth in some sort of capacity. That could be like personal growth, that can be business growth, it can be in the gym, like, is honestly a great example because that's just something that is so important to me. If I were working a 9 to 5, I would be looking for little moments to grow in some regards.
Little moments. I 100% agree, whether that's, getting something done a little bit more on time than you usually do.
Yeah.
Or it's making a schedule for your boss and sending it to them. And again, like, that's to our core values of our companies. I think it can circle back in anything. And that's kind of what we're trying to do, like reframing your best self, right? Like, for me, it's doing it better. How are you doing it better throughout your day-to-day? Little things. Doesn't have to be like you change the world that day. You're going to change the world. Yeah. It's just a matter of time.
Exactly.
But it's more of, what can I do right now to make yesterday be better from yesterday?
Yeah.
Right? And I think just having that mindset really grounds me. I know it grounds you. And I just think with everything coming up in our lives, and I know a ton of people are listening to this are busy with the holidays, how do we manage kind of everything that we're doing, and we want to skyrocket when the holidays come around and things get slower, you spend a little more time with your family, you're not on your computer as much. How do we keep that focus while also making time for our friends and family?
So we talked a little bit about this whole concept of like vertical integration. So we can look at things, we just kind of dismiss this like work-life balance thing. We won't love the concept of it, so we're just not going to talk about it. Because it's not a balance. Like, it's never going to be balanced. There's going to be a shifting back and forth. If you integrate things, you look at it like you have a bar of 100%. Right now, for both of us, work's probably like 90%, and then the 10% is split between personal health and social health and our family and friends and things like that. 100%. Over the holidays, maybe that work gets to slide down a little bit and the other parts take up a larger majority, but it doesn't mean that anything has to ever completely disappear. But there could be a time where you're able to hold 50-50, but it's not that equal balancing act at all times, which is where I think people get stuck on it, is thinking that it has to be even in both regards. But it's okay. Like, we're literally going to the holiday season. Let it be a season of your life where 60% of your time can be allotted to nurturing those friends and family relationships. Let that 40% be for work, and then get back to your 90% after the fact. But it's okay to look at it as that movable, line, instead of being something that has to stay balanced at all times.
When you are so rigid about something, whether that be an expectation, I always say execution over perfection.
Yeah.
Because we are not anytime that we are looking for the perfect moment, the perfect something to do in our lives, it's never going to be like we imagine it.
Yeah.
So we are constantly just going to be waiting. We need to start executing. If we want to do something, do it.
Yeah.
Like, don't just talk about it. We wanted to start this, right? We're doing it now. We put the boots to the ground. And I think a lot of people sometimes are like, I'll do it after the holidays. Like, it gets pretty busy then. But even just starting by writing it down.
Doing something.
Manifest what you want and let it come to life.
Yeah.
I think the perfection of social media, the way people kind of view themselves on social media, whether that be a fitness influencer, whether that be a mom that podcasts or like does their own little organizational thing. Because I've been seeing a lot of like refrigerator organization.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta do that right now. Like the little containers.
Yeah, it's so satisfying.
And I'm like, wow, but that to me, I'm like, that is the standard now. And that stresses me out. So instead, have a standard for yourself. Hit those little goals like we said before each day.
Yep.
Execute.
Yep.
And then you will find yourself growing.
Yeah.
In that.
And it can be super small little moments of execution.
Yes.
Like you said, like literally just writing it down, because you could be in a time period of your life where it doesn't make sense. It's if you're stuck in your 9 to 5 and it doesn't make sense to take that huge step to launch your dream company, if that's what you want to do at the end of the day, but you can write down small little things during this time to get you closer to that goal, that's freaking rad.
100%.
Like that's something that you can do. I feel like you are the type of person that's really good at that because you juggle so many. I don't think people realize how much you do. Like talk about scheduling and fitting stuff into a day. When I talk about you and the amount of different things that you do, people are like, what? Because it's just like so many different jobs, but also fitness, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think that there is like a time of your life where you will shift to a focus on one thing? Do you like to kind of execute on a bunch of different things at one time?
I have always been, and even in high school, I've always been a juggler. I like to, when I say juggle though, I don't mean I'm going to do like 30% here, whatever. Like I give it my all. If I am doing that specific thing at that time, it is 100% of my attention.
Yep.
And then what I do is I push that a little bit aside, and then I do something else for 100% of the time. And what changed my life, this is something that someone has told me, and it dramatically changed everything I do. This person said to me, I was panicked about, just starting college at the time. I was a freshman, and I just said, like, I want to keep my business going. I don't know how to do it. And my friend Kevin said to me, you can do everything you want in a day as long as you schedule it. That's it. Yeah. You can do everything you want. He's like, get up at 5 a.m. then if you don't have time to work out at night. Right now in my schedule, I wake up at 4:45, 5. I get out of my house by 5:15, 5:20. I have short hair. It's very quick.
Yes, so easy.
I'm right out the door. I work out until 7:15. I get right back to my desk. I'm working for that period of time.
Yeah.
After that, I work on 5 Alpha. So it's like, you got to stagger it for what works for you. And I think a lot of people think that things have to take up all this time in the day.
Yeah.
When if you're regimented and you're determined, you can fit in everything.
Yeah.
Trust me. Speaking from experience, like I have been able to really fit in everything I want to do in this life. Life is too short. You got to take a whack at things. You got to do it. And you just got to put your best self forward into doing that.
Always.
I think it's really hard because people are tentative. They're like, I work a 9 to 5. Like I can't like do this on the side. And I'm like, what about after 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
What are you doing then?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can make it work.
I actually, I get jealous sometimes when I watch have you seen the, this is my 5 to 9 before my 9 to 5 videos? And I'm like, you got 4 hours before you start work? That's so much time.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I actually pulled into my house today after the gym, and I'm like, man, it is literally 7:20 right now. And I just got done a full workout.
Yeah.
And it's 7:20. Like that, to me, that is a really big success. And then hitting those little successes throughout the day makes it so, like you're patting yourself on the back all day. By the time it's 7, 8 o'clock at night, you're like, man, I accomplished a lot today.
Yeah.
And it starts with doing what you love in the beginning in the morning.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be that fresh in the morning.
Yep. I'm totally blanking on what the principle is actually called, but the work will take up the amount of time that you have allotted for it. If you don't allot out the specific amount of time or schedule it in, it's just going to take up more. I honestly fall into that trap sometimes where it's like, okay, I know I have this 4-hour block, but I don't tell myself that I'm going to get this task done in the next hour. All of a sudden it takes 4 hours, but I could have gotten it done in 1. You got to schedule it out. You have to have it, and then all of a sudden you do reach that time where it's 7 p.m.
parameters.
Have parameters.
And that's, listen, if the military has taught me one thing, it is to be punctual.
Yeah.
And I think you and I are very punctual people. We get on time, and if you're right on time, you're late.
Yep.
You know? And so I think having those little breaks in between, write it all out. Write your entire day out if you need to, if that helps you. And then once you get into a rhythm, it kind of just goes. But it is so, again, I'm going to emphasize this. I just said this, but life is too short to not be doing what you want to do.
Absolutely.
If you are stuck in the rat race and you don't want to be in the rat race, but it pays the bills, that is completely fine. Figure out a way to do what makes you happy. All right, guys. So today we talked about how work-life balance isn't really a balance. It's kind of how we ebb and flow with it. And then also just executing and not waiting for that perfect moment.
Yeah, I think really important to look at how everything can fit into your life. If you're disciplined with your schedule, you can get things done. It's important to get things done because life is short, and you might as well do it if that's what you want to do in the moment.
Life is short. We got to reframe what we're doing, and we got to do it better.